Hey, welcome back to the final episode of the YouTube live event. It's been absolutely crazy 4 weeks and it's been super exciting with lots of incredible value. But sadly, guys, this is the last episode of the event and I think we've saved a lot of golden nuggets till the end. So I'm super excited for this one because who wouldn't want to make money with a Facebook group? Who wouldn't want to make affiliate commissions like in that easy? Facebook groups are great for community, great for building that culture, and you can make a hell of a lot of money from them. So why not unlock that potential? I have Nate and I have Flip here, who are two experts at this. The noise around town about these two guys and what these can do in terms of monetization is quite scary and exciting all at the same time. Welcome, guys. How are we?
Doing good, my man. I appreciate you having us.
Doing good. And I'd also like to thank you for saving the best for last. It's very nice of you.
I'm sure there'll be some affiliate marketers going, well, I'm the best. No, I'm the best. So you've just ruffled some feathers. So that'll be, let's see what comes back. But no, awesome. So guys, obviously let's kick off. Like we all have a life before online. Like, what was it like for you two and how did you get to the magic of typing in on Google how to make money online?
Nate, you want this one or you want me to go first?
You can go first so I don't try to interrupt you,
All right. So, Brian, if you've got it, got the ability for, your viewers or watchers to comment, I'm just curious, if anyone who's listening, whether it's live or the replay, I'm curious, have you ever worked 12-hour shifts? All right, 'cause that's what I used to do. I used to work in an aluminum extrusion plant. Most people don't know what the fuck that is, but if I can explain it in a nutshell, if you remember when you was a kid, you got Play-Doh. You push the Play-Doh through a shape and it would come out looking like spaghetti. All right. We did that with aluminum. We'd heat it up 1,000 degrees and that's what we did, different shapes. So I used to work usually 7 days straight, 60 to 90 hours a week. And I would do that, transition to night shift and repeat. So it was like 7 on, half a day off, transition, 7 days on, and then I'd have a couple of days off. So both of my daughters were born in 2016, 2017, around the time I was working like this. So I put a lot of time in to that place and I was always gone. It's an hour drive one way. So I was gone 15, 16 hours a day and I was missing everything with my kids. All right. I had a shit childhood. So I wanted to be a little different around my own kids and just not being home, watching them do their first things through, a text message or a video, first steps, first words, etc. It just kind of hit me wrong. So I remember sitting there thinking I was running the press. I think I was on like day 7. And I remember thinking, there's got to be a better way, right? That's what initially got me to look into making money from home and many different online business models. That one thought is what took me to 3 years of failure and about $40,000 invested between 2017 and 2020, trying every business model under the sun, drop shipping, done for you affiliate marketing, Facebook ads, Etsy, selling my own shit, hydro dipping. If you've seen it, I've probably tried it and probably failed at it, right? So if you want me to go into more detail, I don't want to ramble, but my first 3 years fucking sucked and I lost a lot of money, but I did not quit, right? So if all that makes sense, let me know. If you want me to keep going, I'll kind of let you know how I found shit to work.
So before we move on, and obviously there's always questions. The minute someone speaks, I've got about 5 questions. Doesn't your job, like your job title, sound like something that Iron Man would be doing? Like when I was listening to it, I was like, doesn't that sound like something out of Marvel gone wrong? I was like, absolutely love it. So how did you feel going in investing roughly around 40k and nothing working? What were the types of conversations in your head, conversations with your missus? Like, what was going on at that point?
Man, it was tough, man. My wife, luckily, she supported me in all my crazy ass ideas, and she always told me the same thing. It was like, that's a lot of money to invest, but I believe in you. Please just hurry the hell up, right? So I had her support, but the first couple things, like the first thing I invested in was drop shipping, and it was like a $1,500 course, and I was sold on the get rich quick shit, and I quickly found out that wasn't the case. So like, I remember being at work and just being frustrated that I wasn't making any headway, and just being pissed off because I was seeing a lot of folks win online, and I remember thinking, I was like, I'm no different than anyone else. I want something bigger and better. I want more out of just going to work, doing my shift, come home, eat shit, sleep, and repeat. Like it's got to be something different. So I went through all the roller coasters of emotions, man.
And Nate, what about yourself? Because obviously, don't get me wrong, we will talk about how the hell you ended up flipping it around, both of you. But Nate, what about yourself? Where did you come from?
So pretty much similar, right? I mean, that's probably why we're business partner, color, right? And I'm from the Northwest of the United States, so it rains like a lot, like insanely a lot. This year we had a record summer streak, and I think it was like 11 days in a row there was sun. So I was working at a construction company where we installed like the guardrails on balconies around skyscrapers and stuff like that. And we'd be like, tied up with a harness on like the 16th story deck in the pouring down rain. It was miserable, right? I hated it. This was after my daughter was born. So I think it was like late night one night. I actually came across an ad by Alex Becker, which was about drop shipping at the time. And then I ended up grabbing a course on Amazon FBA and got shiny object syndrome pretty much like before I even opened the course, basically. And started leaning more into like the social media marketing agency, running Facebook ads for local businesses. And that's where I had my first taste of success online. I started running paid ads, Facebook ads for chiropractic clinics. But the reality is I didn't have any idea what I was doing or how to actually deliver results on those ads. So I was wasting a bunch of ad spend for those clients. So then I pivoted my business to blogging, and I blogged for probably about a year. I would say probably about 8 months. And I did matching YouTube videos for the blog posts. In a span of like 8 months, I published like 296,000 words on a blog. So to give context, that's 5 or 6 New York Times bestselling books. And I wrote most of them on topics that nobody was looking for, like affiliate program reviews and all this other shit that nobody's ever looked up, right? I still rank for a ton of things, but nobody's looking them up. So that's kind of the early stages of my journey. Was a lot of trial and error, a lot of failure. Same with Flip, right? We both kind of went through these long pockets of trying and continuously trying different things, pivoting to kind of leading up to where we are now. And that's like a very brief snapshot of where I started from, right? It was a lot of different business models, right? Before I ever even leaned into the high ticket affiliate marketing world or even anything about groups. That wasn't even on my radar a few years ago. Or like 3, I would say probably.
Nice. Okay. Right. So loads of different business models. And then, because you know what? A lot of people end up the same. Like affiliate marketing is 9 times out of 10, it's not the first thing they try. And obviously, when you type in like how to make money from home or online, it's gonna come up in your blog post as a suggestion. Why do you think people go elsewhere first?
For me personally, it's probably the fact that affiliate marketing's actually been around so long, and still so many people that just have no idea the business model even exists. So they'll go for something else that is probably not as sustainable, but it looks super attractive based on the results other folks are preaching and teaching, like the get rich quick shit, 10K in 30 days. Even though that is possible, it's not portrayed in the most truthful way. So like folks are attracted to, the most beneficial way that they can get what they want right now. Right. That was why I went for drop shipping. The way it was explained, it made a ton of sense. I was like, yeah, that sounds simple. I can do it. Right. I'll jump in. Lo and behold, a lot of shit was withheld. A lot of information, a lot of things I was going to have to do that had to be in place. Right. So I was bombarded and overwhelmed by the work that it actually involved. And in return, that overwhelmed kind of shut me down because I was lied to, which is why we're so transparent about everything that we do in today.
And you know what, like, obviously that does make a ton of sense. Like, affiliate marketing's been around for ages, like for decades. But when the concept of buying something, like for instance, like buying a wholesale product and then selling a wholesale product, it's basically what shops do all day, every day. So for the concept of, well, actually, you're just going to buy from the wholesaler and sell like to the consumer, that seems like an easy, well, oh yeah, that happens every single day. Whereas when you go to a pizza restaurant and it's the best pizza restaurant in town and you tell all your mates about it and all your mates go and you don't get a commission because there's nothing set up like that. That's not sort of like obviously you do that referral marketing all the time, don't you? But obviously you don't get paid for it. So it's not ingrained in your system where you can go to Costco, you can go to the Kirkland brand and you can buy something that is wholesale. Basically it's got a new brand on it and away you go. It's like, it's something that's ingrained into you. So when you get drop shipping, it's like, it's easy to relate to because you see it all the time effectively. And then, but as you say, affiliate marketing is like, you don't, like, the pizza manager does knock on your door with a £10 voucher. Thanks for sending all your mates. So I think that's an issue. So let's jump into affiliate marketing. And like, did you hit the ground running, or again, new business model, new things to learn, new struggles, and what did that look like?
So for me, I jumped into one of the cheapest things around. Most folks know what it is. And I'm not going to bash it, but this is where I got my true start, which was Legendary Marketer. This was January 2020. And I had a 2-year plan. I was like, I'm going to go hard on this for 2 years. I'm going to build everything up, and I'm going to quit my job in 2 years or less. Right. So I went through that. I took all the upsells. I ended up spending way more than $7. I probably spent closer to $3,000. Right. And I was still kind of left confused, overwhelmed, and I didn't have a lot of support. Right. Again, but the model itself was explained better. It made sense around like high ticket, traffic, all that shit. But me, I'm not a tech guy. Nate will tell you, even to this day, I like to keep things super simple. So we figured out a way to sell with, little to no tech, right? No crazy funnels or monthly subscriptions, etc. But after I jumped into that in January, March 2020, I was fired when COVID and all that shit hit. I lost my 6-figure job, right? So my wife lost her job too. So we went from a 2-income household, 2 kids, house, 2 cars, 0 income, right? So that summer was a struggle. I was still going on. I was still investing in shit. I dropped another 10K that I got burned on in a 2-month coaching program. And like, I was literally in survival mode. So failed my way, kind of survived through the summer, barely paying the bills and shit. And I come across something else. And all the investments I made, I was burnt out. I was super skeptical. Shit wasn't working. I lost my job. We had Christmas coming up. Shit was just bonkers. And I made I made one more decision. I sold my lawnmower for $1,800. If you're a man, you know how we are with our lawnmowers and cutting grass. So I sold the lawnmower, $1,800. I took $1,500. I invest into SAA with Jacob Karras. Shout out to that dude who's absolutely helped me a fuck ton, and I'll be forever grateful. But put my head down, and I made Christmas happen. I jumped in that August 2020 and started getting some momentum, closing a couple sales here and there. Was using SAA to sell other affiliate products. And in less than 8 months, I hit my first $20,000 month, right?
Damn.
So $1,500 investment, less than 8 months, I hit my first, it was actually $22,790. That was what I made. Commissions, cash in the bank, not revenue, not sales. That was profit from affiliate commissions, right? So that was a big shift for me right there.
Yeah, same as me, really. Like, not exactly the same. Obviously, we're two different people. I pivoted into the affiliate marketing space fairly early on. So it was like actually right after my run-in with running a digital marketing agency. I came across like Clickfunnels and running paid ads to, at the time, it was like a business in a box type thing before Clickfunnels changed their terms of service, where you could run ads to the business in a box and you could change out your affiliate links and all this stuff, and you'd stack up Clickfunnels commissions. And I want to say that was in like late 2018, where I started doing that, and I very rapidly burnt through my entire savings account trying to get free trials that didn't ever stay. And then I pivoted into blogging, which was all about affiliate marketing, right? I was trying to build this affiliate marketing business from fairly early on. And I also discovered SAA. That was kind of where my business actually transformed. I was coming off the back end of blogging a ton and burnt out, not making any money. And that's kind of where I discovered the power of high ticket and Facebook almost in unison, right? Because prior to that, I was doing a lot of blog, YouTube, ads. And then for like software companies and monthly recurrings versus the high ticket model. So that's where I actually pivoted. I would want to say it was October, the end of October. And that's kind of where I moved into the high ticket space, right? I didn't have quite as much success as Flip, as fast, right? It was more, I think, wrapped up the year at about 100K in sales. So probably about 60, 70 take home, roughly. And that's where my business really transformed. I really liked the proactive approach to Facebook, having the ability to like bootstrap my business, especially in contrast to what I was doing prior, right? Writing a blog post, kind of just sitting and waiting, right? I remember when Freedom Breakthrough launched, I wrote like a 5,500 word blog post about Freedom Breakthrough, and it never got indexed, right? Even to this day, it's not indexed. And I wrote it before it was ever even live, right? Like when he did the beta. So got kind of burnt out on that.
Wow. Okay. So obviously, you both went through the same similar journeys, and 90% of affiliate marketers do the same. Like, don't they? Like Legendary Marketers 15-day challenge. A lot of people sign up to that, or like you've got the 3-day business breakthrough or the business breakthrough challenge. Like there's loads of little challenges, and a lot of people get in and they go through those challenges, and then some people will invest on the next step, or some people will try and make it as they are. But even after that high ticket purchase, so many people still struggle, even though there's course material there, and the course material tells you what to do, but people still struggle. Like, what changed for both of you that stopped the struggle? Like, obviously, it took you 8 months, and you got to a 20K month. You done, what was it, 60, 70 grand in a year? Like,
Yep.
that's more than a full-time wage for most people. Obviously, sat in what really looks like a comfy office. So, like, for the both of you, it's like, what changed in your marketing strategy, your mindset, like anything that you can go, well, actually, I changed that, and that, and it just went.
Yep. One of the biggest things, or should I say, one of the most common mistakes that affiliates or online entrepreneurs will make anyway is they want the instant gratification, and they're more focused on making a sale than actually serving and growing an audience, right? So that was one thing that I made a huge shift on. It's like, stop trying to get what I want and just document what I'm learning as I'm implementing it, right? So it's like, I need to give more so that I can receive more. The more value I give, the more I get back, right? So that was the one big shift, right? Most people are like, they want to get a customer to make a sale versus us, we want to make a sale to create a customer. Because if we get a customer, we can over deliver on what they get from us. And then in return, they're going to be a repeat buyer if they have a great experience with the first purchase, right? We've got a $117 training that we got that just over delivers only 24 minutes, right? And we just created it not too long ago. It's already done thousands in revenue, right? 24 minutes, straight gold, straight value. And from that, they immediately wanted and felt like they had to buy the next thing that we had to offer. So it's like, give more, receive more, hands down.
Yeah, and you know what? Before Nate jumps in, so I do apologize, pal. That is something I'm seeing a hell of a lot of, like, over the past 4 weeks. Is like, I know everyone gets attracted by the ads of like, make money online now, fast, simple, easy, no funnels, no tech, no nothing. Like, basically just sign up and we'll give you money. And like, people get attracted to that scenario. And it's only when like, and everyone comes in with that mindset it's going to happen now. It's only when you go and that light bulb moment where you go, shit, this is actually a business. And if I'm going to treat it like a business and not a side hustle, like, I hate the word side hustle. I do not use it in marketing or anything, because side hustle creates like, oh, it's not that serious. When it fucking is. I've got 3 kids, like, so obviously I know your pain when you were saying like being away. Like, building a business is harder than having kids.
Yep. Oh, yeah, it is.
100%. It's the hardest thing you will ever have to do, but it's also the most rewarding. And if you just call it a side hustle and like, oh yeah, I'll just work on that for a couple of hours, or like, when you start, like, you need to shift that, because it is a business. It's whether you're going out and creating a construction company or a tech company. It's like, it's a business. Start treating it like one, and it will start treating you like a director, and it'll start paying you like one as well.
Yeah, and that's a big one too, right? Is like, obviously it's appealing from like a marketing angle, right? That's human psychology. Everybody wants quick and easy stuff. But I think that's the biggest thing. And as we're talking about it, that's the number one thing and reason why I was able to start having success, is because I got focused, right? It was, instead of, I started looking at and playing longer term, right? Because it was like, jump from Facebook ads and sip drinks on the beach by turning on an ad campaign, write blog posts, passive income, so I don't have to do any work, versus like, okay, I'm going to dedicate the next 12 plus months to creating content every day on Facebook, having some form of conversation with somebody, whether they buy from me today or not. And that's kind of where I would say is where my success started to happen, is when I kind of put my blinders on, stop worrying about everything else, the hottest opportunity or something coming up, just started doing the repetition and showing up in my business and moving towards that goal, even if it was farther out than I actually wanted it to be, right? So that was kind of like, I ended up having to go get a job, right? I went and got like an actual full-time job again, and that was like my mission statement, was like, I'm going to just stay here until I'm ready to actually start having income coming in. So I think that's a big one, is the expectations prior.
Okay. And in terms of, yay. Do you know what? It's usually me. Usually when I do a late night podcast episode, I've always got one or two of them coming in, like jumping in. And yeah, mate.
Always.
Do you know what though? I never ever edit it out because it's real. It's so real. It's like yes, like it's just what it is. All my middle one's now got to a point where he's like, "Daddy, can I create videos too and put them on YouTube?" Yeah, why not? So that mindset shift, that whole like treating it like a business, putting your blinkers on, going for it in the right. You've got to be taking the right marketing strategy, haven't you? Because if you like, you tried blogging as a marketing strategy, and it didn't really land. It can land for a lot of people, but it didn't land with yourself. And like, there's so many different marketing strategies. Like, what was the one that took it off? Like, because people are like, oh, you post a million videos on TikTok, or like just do Instagram stories and build up your audience there and sell on your story. There's so many different ways to get a lead. What was the one that consistently started to bring you the leads?
Well, we both got our start on, Facebook, using your personal Facebook profile, not a business page, nothing like that. Your personal Facebook profile. Now, what we did, that's where I built my personal brand for the first couple of months. Just showing up. Now, I was at this point, in other groups and involved with other folks I had met and was networking with. But I was posting content, like written content with pictures, sharing my journey, what I was learning, and making connections that way. Right. That was like the first thing before before I ever transitioned to say TikTok. Right. I saw a large gap on TikTok around all the fluffy shit. And that was another thing that helped me really kickstart things, because 2021, I ended with, 105,000 profit, and 90% of it came from, folks finding me on TikTok and then coming with me over to Facebook and consuming my longer form content. Right. But it was Facebook is where I got my start, my first couple thousand. And then I added another layer once I got good at Facebook.
Okay. And what about you, Nate? Like, what was your like marketing strategy that started to convert?
So realistically, like early on in my Facebook journey, I knew from like as soon as starting, I wanted to build a group. I wanted to have a community because I saw everybody had a big community. Everybody was growing groups. So at the time, I was creating a lot of content on my Facebook profile, and 99% of the traffic I was pushing into my group. And then later on, I also started utilizing TikTok short form videos to feed the group, which is ironically exactly what we do and teach now still. To this day, it's just got better and better over the last couple of years. So that's kind of where my success, same thing, profile, right? Primarily engaging and conversing with people on the profile, with the intention of getting people into my community, whether I'm running like live trainings, Q&As, doing a lot of video content in my group for a long time. I used to do like weekly lives and stuff like that. Really just building this culture and community of people, because I knew that over time that would turn into a very profitable thing, right? It's not necessarily like a quick play. It can be a quick play now, right? This is a couple years ago. It wouldn't be a quick play prior to like short form videos, because growing a group, unless you have a pre-existing audience, can be kind of slow. So it was kind of tedious when I first started my group. It was usually getting people to join my group on a one-to-one scenario, right? Having a conversation with somebody, hey, love to have you in my group, check out a training, versus kind of what we do now. It's more of at scale, at volume. So
okay, it's interesting what I like of you, and you've both sort of said it, and a couple of people have said it in the past, like, because everyone's got this like starry-eyed scenario around TikTok right now. It's like, oh my god, it's the best thing ever. And don't get me wrong, like the fact that all the short form platforms are competing against each other to get the views, it's never been such a great place to be a content marketer, because they're just fighting for you, aren't they? Like, no, come to my platform, no, come to my platform. And it will give you more views, and it's great. But what was very interesting is you you get your views, you get your attention, and you take them straight off the platform. It's like, no, come with me into somewhere where you can indoctrinate them, build that know, like, and trust, and obviously create the amount of time that's required in terms of watch time. So obviously ask for that $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 price point. So I absolutely love, like, people who go, oh yeah, TikTok's been the best thing for my business. It probably has in terms of your brand awareness, but everything else you were still doing, it was still working. You just needed more brand awareness. And obviously those short form pieces have got it. So for everyone who's thinking, I'm just going to use TikTok to grow my business, like, no, like, look, Flip's literally sat there like, like, use it as a brand awareness tool. Take them off the platform. People will push people to you from TikTok to YouTube, or TikTok to Instagram. Like, YouTube long form content, Instagram behind the scenes content, Facebook groups, culture, community. Everyone wants to be part of a community. Everyone wants to identify with a football team or like anything like that. It's just who we are as people. So use that, like, TikTok, that short form content to get people's attention and then move them, which I like how both of you are like, well, that's what you've got to do. So Nate, you spoke about your group and obviously growing that. Like, obviously it was a lot harder before short form content. Now, before we go about attracting attention to the group and getting people into the group, because obviously that's going to be the hardest thing. But what are some of the key components once they're in there? Because a lot of people, yeah, I've got a group, yeah, cool, how much do you post? When I can be asked, because it does me head in. Instead of like, what stuff do you need to do inside your group to deliver to get conversions?
Yeah. So you bring up a really good point, right? And that's like literally how our entire businesses are operated, right? Short form video for attention, group content to, build the rapport, build the relationships, build the connections, right? As far as like content in the community, you have to, it depends on where you're at in your journey, right? If you have more clout, then obviously making sales is going to be a little bit easier, but I'll direct this towards someone who's like fairly early on. The way that we like to look at it is like a journal, documentation of your process, right? You don't have to be some type of expert. If you just started your Facebook group and you just started creating TikToks and you're pushing people into a community, you don't have to talk about how you did $1 million in the last 17 hours, right? You can talk about things you learned, how you set up a group, how you got your first 100 views, how you did this, how you did that, because that's going to be relatable to the people who aren't creating content, to the people who haven't created a Facebook group or anything, right? And then over prolonged periods of time, as you do this in your community, it's going to build up these really cool relationships with people that watch you, right? Like if somebody was in my group from like 3 or 4 years ago, they're going to be able to see that I used to do this, I used to do that. And now they see we've built this multi-6-figure brand, right, over the last few years. The connection that ends up getting built with the people who've been there from fairly early on is like the sales on the back end of those types of connections is extremely easy. It's not like twisting somebody's arm to be like, hey, you got to buy my shit. It's like, hey, how do I get involved in this? I want to be involved in this, right? So the biggest thing is just some form of content, right? Long form written content, video content, whatever one you prefer, getting your story out there in the community, right? And there's actually this funny paradox as like the more you create in your group, the easier it is to talk about outside of your group, right? If we do a train, like we did a 3-hour training this morning in our groups, and now we can go externally and talk about that training, which then just refeeds the community.
Right? So nice. Okay. So it's just creating content. You've used the word document, like document your process, document whatever you learn. And Flip, you said the exact same earlier on. It was like, just document, just talk about what you're doing, what's going on, what you're learning, how it's then going to grow your business. And you know what? That was one thing, I'll be honest, like I hear it all the time. And it was the one thing I just stopped doing. And it was only till this event, I was like, do you know what? I was like, I haven't documented any part of my journey for a long time. And it's like, and when you go back and listen to, like, for instance, like Marketing Secrets, obviously, like Russell Brunson's podcast, like he's still documenting his journey now. I was like, that process doesn't stop. You don't just get to a level you're at, like yourselves now, and stop learning or stop doing stuff. Like you're still, so like to carry on that documentation is pretty, I'd say pretty crucial. Obviously, like throughout the whole process, it should never stop. Now, you touched on and you started to link into the lead gen side. So you put a 3-hour training in your group today, you said, and then now it's like, oh, now we go tell other people about it. Yeah. Now let's get into the sexy bit. How the fuck do you flood that group full of people who actually engage?
So check this out. A lot of folks have groups and they've started groups and they don't know what the fuck to do with them. All right. So prime example, if you've got person A that says, hey, I've got this Facebook group. I'm going to be talking about affiliate marketing, come and join it. All right. But you got person B that says, hey, I've invested 50 grand and I'm going to be sharing all the insights that I've learned that's gotten me results, as well as students and clients of ours inside of this Facebook group. We just ran a 3-hour training that explained the exact process and the 5 things that we focus on that's done over $450,000 this year. You can have this training for free, right? Which one is more attractive, right? Or you could still take person A, they could still make their invite more sexy by saying something like, hey, I just invested. I'm getting ready to learn how to do affiliate marketing on the high ticket side and building a personal brand. I'm going to be sharing everything I learn inside of this program that costs $1,000. And I just want you guys to come and get the insights. I'll be sharing what it's like in the trenches every day, as long as I'm doing this. Right. And you're just inviting people to come in there. But what folks are missing is they don't make it make sense for folks to want to be in their group. Like, you got to give them a reason, right? We've got more live trainings and resources, and I'd be willing to bet, our 5-figure months that the things that we offer for free absolutely blow most paid trainings out of the water, right? And that's mainly because we want to massively over deliver to showcase we know what the fuck we're talking about, right? As ex-blue collar folk, girl dads, wanting to be home, sick of working for the boss. Here's how we did it. Here's how we make our own schedule, how we average what we do, and how we've got students and clients that are growing their Facebook groups by the thousands every 30 to 60 days, right? You got to make them and give them a reason.
Your missus must love you, mate, because you definitely know how to make things sound sexy.
Oh my goodness.
So go on, Monique.
Go ahead, my man. No, go ahead, my man.
So what I was going to say was, like, obviously, like, giving them a sexy reason to join is definitely like one like massive part of that. Like, give them, like, it was quite interesting. I loved how you went and described like this is how come into this group to learn how we've done over like 400,000 X, Y, and Z. And what I loved is literally you took it right the way back to the beginning, like, because if that was literally going to be my question, or what have you done fuck all, or you're not done fuck all, you've invested, you're learning, and you literally spun it on and said, well, if you're a newbie, this is how you sell it, and like, it doesn't matter, and I love that because it's reinforcing. It doesn't matter what stage you're at. Okay, you can always turn around, bend down the mountain, and pull the next person up. And I think that's a very valuable thing. So even if you feel like you've got nothing to offer, you fucking have. Like, because you've typed in how to make money online, you've sift through a load of blogs, you've bought a couple of courses, you've learned a few things. Like, you're already in a position where you can turn around and help someone else, which is what this is all about. Actually, the system's fucking us left, right, and centre. The least we can do is turn around and help someone. So I absolutely love the fact that you made both sound sexy, which makes it an attractive. So now we've got an attractive reason to join a group. What next?
All right. So if we give them a great reason to come into our group, right? So like, I'll give you the walkthrough of what it looks like for us. So we want to collect a little bit of information. So we do charge for our free groups, but it's really only like, hey, what have you tried? How'd you find me? And can I send you a training on how I made my first 1,000 online? Right? And I'll ask for their email address. Right? So we're creating more touch points. It's not to, spam them with a bunch of bullshit, but it's like, hey, if I can send you this free training and you get value from it and go and make money, then you're gonna know again, and it's gonna further give you proof of concept that we know our shit, right? So however many touch points you can create with your audience, like some folks would vibe with me, some folks would vibe with you, Brian, some folks would vibe with Nate, other folks would just hate us. And I want to make it super simple and clear for them to make a decision whether I'm the person they want to learn from. If they don't, cool. If they do, awesome. But I'm going to make it super easy for them to make that decision, whether they're like, fuck yeah, I can learn from somebody like Flip. He's cussing, he's a girl dad, he's an outdoorsman, he's left his job, and he's doing really well. I vibe with that, right? So the more content and touch points we have to showcase who we are as a person, like I'm not the most professional motherfucker online. And that's because, right? That's because if I wanted to be professional, I'd have went and got another job when I got fired. I want to be who I really am, which is another content angle, right? If I can be who I really am, nobody's going to be surprised when I get into my coaching program and Flip's in here dropping F-bombs like it's his job, right? That's how we do things.
Yeah, and do you know what, mate? You're right, aren't you? Like by creating those, by being you, not like hiding behind a persona. I seen a great video the other day, where it was like, you need to be you. You just need to be an amplified version. That doesn't mean change anything. You just need to be a little bit more amplified to stand out. Like, and as you say, like that creates that relatability. As we mentioned before about this, like about the kids coming in and out, and obviously we're having a laugh about that. It's just a relatable thing. It just happens. When Nate's like little girl come in, we all laughed. We were like, yeah, we know what that's like. It's just one of them. You just can't get away from it. And people like that will go, oh yeah, obviously look, he's building an online business with his kids running around because it's probably what midday for you ish. Yeah, so and those things happen. So, and then Flip, you spoke about touch points, and obviously, so getting people into the groups, one, grabbing their email before they come into the group, offering them with the training, so a little qualifying questions, get to know your questions, offer some free training. There's 2 touch points, and then what about getting people to that request? How do you get more and more people to request? You said like people are getting thousands of people to join their groups in 30 to 60 days. How the fuck are they doing it?
So it's the attraction thing, right? So I had one video earlier this year. I've had to stop creating content so I could catch up on group requests and lead flow, right? So I created one piece of content. It was a 60-second video, and it was just so relatable to like the working man or the working woman that it was like, yeah, I want to hear what he's got to say. So it's like if I said, hey, I created a 60-second video on TikTok that brought in $4,000 without me speaking or talking to anyone or sending an affiliate link, right? Now, in my group next Friday, I'm going to break down exactly how I did it so that you can do it too. Comment below, check the first comment, and you can join my group, and I'll see you on Friday. Now, would you want to come and check that training?
Nate, you must love working with him, mate, because he could probably turn like a rock on the ground to sexy. It was just like, damn.
So nice to an Eskimo. And that's a really powerful thing to think about too. Like if anybody's watching this and they are looking at growing a group, the more, as I kind of touched on, the more you put into your communities, the easier and easier it is to grow your community, right? Because you can talk about that externally. But if you put out a written piece of content in your group, you can go turn that into a TikTok, a Facebook reel, Pinterest idea, and it just all continuously feeds itself, right? And I guess another thing to think about too is you don't necessarily need massive volume or group requests to make a lot of money, especially if your content is targeted on the front end, right? Like one of our biggest days all year was out of a Facebook group of 43 people, right? We had like $11,600 a day out of a Facebook group of 43 people, right? So it's there's two different approaches to it, right? You could do like a higher volume approach to growing your group, or you could even go like a lower volume approach with more targeted, right? Obviously, with the short form videos and the TikTok and the Facebook Reels and stuff like that, you have the ability to pop off, and one video will just blow up.
100%.
Your turn.
Mine will be next. What?
Shut the door. Yeah, it's bedtime. So yeah, obviously going back to the scenario, obviously the content in the group, those little free trainings, and you mentioned obviously like you don't need a huge group to get those sales in, to get that income in. What do you think is like? What do you think is that those like, key framework to converting whatever audience you've got into sales? Like, what do you have to deliver at lead gen stage to community build stage to call to action? What are the key frameworks that get those sales through the door?
So the way I look at it is I can sit here and give away the absolute most value, right? Explain everything. And there's only going to be a small percentage of people that will take that information and actually go and put it into action. It's just the truth. You got a shit ton of coaches, affiliates, folks that sell things are like, I can't give away too much value because then they won't buy, right? That's wrong. We had our coach, Jacob, kind of flip this for us, about a year ago. It's like, what we really want to do, if you want to make more sales as an affiliate, as a coach, physical, digital, whatever, I don't care what you sell. I'm famous for saying, dildos, dump trucks, or digital courses. I don't care. I'll show you how to sell it. Right. So it's like, if I can show you the plan and I can explain the process to where, one, you believe you can do it. Two, you know that I'm the person that can help you do it. The investment doesn't matter. That's the whole game in 3 steps. Show people they can do it. Get them to believe they can do it. Make it make sense. Give them proof of concept, all the results, whatever. And then make sure they know and understand you're the person that can help them do it. After that, the sale's already done. It's just a matter of, how do you want to pay, right? If I said, hey, the next 6 months, I'll show you how to make, an extra 30 grand, who'd be wanting to do that? Oh, and by the way, it does cost you $1,000, right? $1,000. I'll show you how to make 30 grand in the next 6 months. Does that make sense?
Right? Yeah. So what I like is you've created that much of a, like, you've put that much up front, like, of your own stuff, your own knowledge, etc. By the time it gets to call to action, sale, closing, and all that, it's like ring, 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 ring. Take my money now, because you've literally just put that much up front that it becomes a no brainer between the amount of free value you give, the sexiness of how you've like brought them in, and then it's just like take my money.
And I think that's a really underlying power behind it. If you can actually genuinely help somebody win off of a free thing that you do, they're technically they're sold on you, right? If somebody takes like a piece of written content or in your group, you get some type of either non-monetary or monetary result off of that content, the chances of them buying is extremely easy, right? Like it's by far one of the biggest pivots I would say both of us have made in our business. It's literally just telling anything and everything.
Yeah. And people miss this fact of like the true power of a Facebook group, like building your own shit, like your own community, your own email list, is like over time, if you can be consistent, like we always tell folks, the sweet spot's anywhere between 3 and 12 months. If you're willing to go hard, implement what you learn, follow the steps, show up, be you, implement, deploy, like you're going to gain traction, you're going to get results. So like we've got these buckets that we talk about. You got these buckets of goodwill that we build that, We're always filling goodwill in the bucket. When we make offers, we don't want to fully deplete our audience, so we keep bringing value to keep the goodwill high, right? So over time, we constantly have folks that'll send us a message and say, hey, can you send me the link for XYZ? I'm ready. I've seen enough. I've been watching you for 8 months, and I know I've seen you grow enough. I'm sick of it. I'm ready for this to be me. We literally get those messages because, like, we're just persistent. We always show up. We're there. And we break shit down like a lot of people don't, right?
Nice. Okay. I'm absolutely loving it. So if you could break down, obviously, the value up front is obviously a huge thing, which means, like, so the way you sort of see it is like, it's like a bar of energy. So you fill that bar of energy, like, do you know, like in your games, your PlayStation games and stuff like that, and you got your bar of energy, and you fill that up with value, right? You put, right, here's an offer, right? It goes down a little bit, here's an offer.
Mhm.
But because you're constantly filling it up with that scenario of, like, obviously more value, that energy bar never drops. So even when you put an offer that in, like, hey, come and buy this or get this, like, like, comes down, but it's just constantly being replenished. That bar of energy, which is like your goodwill and the value and the know, like, and trust, just doesn't run out for you guys because you're just putting that much in and you're holding nothing back. That obviously when you do put an offer in, it's not even going to make a dent in that energy bar.
That's it. That is it.
Well, that could have been 1 minute 36 worth of a YouTube event. So give me your 3 biggest tips each for growing a Facebook group, tech wise or hack wise, or, like, give me something sexy, and then we'll go into the final bits.
What you got, Nate? I know I've been running my mouth pretty much the entire time.
I completely cut out. My internet is not being nice. I'm sorry. What did you say, Brian?
So give me, like, your 3, like, secret hacks. Obviously, you've given me your foundations. Give me some little nuances that really help grow a group.
I think one of the biggest things is, like, for growing a group is, obviously right now reels are hot. Everybody's probably been talking about reels, right? The reach on them are absolutely insane. The ability to grow your group very quickly isn't a very, like, crazy concept. Anybody could do it. But I would say monetizing that group effectively, right? Whether it's a small group or you're rapidly growing. So the biggest thing is like, one thing that really changed is, I guess that's a good one.
I'll add to it. I think he might have cut out. A couple of my tips. Here's number 1. Be yourself at all times, no matter what. If you cuss a lot, great, do it. If you're super professional, be that person, right? Just be you no matter what. And regardless of whatever you want to sell, all right, if you want to learn a skill that you can be knowledgeable in, that's fine. Whatever it might be, you want to create the content while sharing you, but it also needs to be appealing to a group of people that have a problem that really pisses them off, really frustrates them, and, like, they're just sick to their back teeth with it. And your offer, whatever you're selling, is the solution. All right. So in a nutshell, find a group of people by creating content that speaks to them, that have a problem, invite them into your world so that you can show them the solution. Right. So there's 2 big tips right there. And then make it easy for them to understand and see how easy it is that they can fix their problem with your solution. All right. There's the fucking formula that's going to make you a shit ton of money and have folks happy as hell to give it to you. All right. Find a group of people that are mad, upset, have a problem. Figure out what the solution is. Even better, if you can create a solution that is way different and better than the normal solution, kind of like what we did with Group Juice. So in a nutshell, if we've got any organic marketers, I'll give you an example. If you learned organic the last 2 years, create content, join a bunch of groups, try and give value to the groups, send a bunch of targeted friend requests, send them cold DMs, right? Get on these free calls, strategy sessions, whatever you want to call them, and do your best to give them value and make an offer to them, right? We've removed all of that with Group Juice. It's no more long conversations, no more searching for friends to add, right? No more calls. We don't do anything fancy. The most crazy tech we got, something called Group Convert, and I've recently started using something called Repurpose. So now I can post one video and show up in 6 different places, grow my audience, build the know, like, and trust, relationships over revenue, build relationships at scale, make as much money as you want, impact a lot of people. To die, motherfuckers.
And I think, and since I've been spotty on the internet, the one thing I will add too, the biggest thing going into the biggest thing going into any type of content creation is thinking about what do they get out of it, right? What are they actually going to get? That's the only reason people are going to consume your content. That's the only reason people are going to follow you, join your group, engage in some type of conversation with you, or buy your offer. Is what are they getting? Yeah. So the crystal clear picture you can paint in your content, in the short form videos, the long content, in your sales processes, the more clear you can make it on who it's for and who it's not for, it makes all of the other moving parts extremely easy, right? Like a lot of our sales conversations are very short, right? As Flip kind of just teased on, we don't do calls. We close with primarily docs. And it's usually very short conversations, send a doc off of content. And a way that we also look at it is we're capturing ourselves inside of that content, right? Capturing our energy that will work for us, build rapport for us, so we don't have to do the calls, so we don't have to do the 17-day DM sequence or something.
So Flip literally, I don't know if it was a tease or what, but he mentioned something of Group Juice. So I am going to ask about that because if I'm not mistaken, I've seen Group Juice on one of the email addresses for the invite. And again, you just teased me, so I sort of want to know what is that.
Group Juice is what we created earlier this year. I think we rolled it out like the end of January, February. It's pretty much what Nate and I were doing all of last year. That was very different and unique around like personal branding, high ticket affiliate marketing, right? So once me and Nate realized we were doing the same things, we're in another mastermind, Jacob Karras's Inner Circle. I'd mentioned that, I had like 600 folks waiting to join my group from one video. And we were talking about how that was happening. And Jacob was like, he said, that's it. He said, y'all need to create an offer around that. Because I said, we got that Group Juice, right? We were closing high ticket sales left and right. Group was blowing up. He was like, y'all need to do that offer. That's when me and Nate put our heads together. We rolled out a 4-day workshop. That's how Group Juice was born. So literally 4-day workshop, maybe 6 hours roughly. And we've had dozens and dozens of folks cross over 10,000 in profit in 100 days or less. With what we teach in Group Juice, no matter what they sell. They could sell their own shit, affiliate stuff, whatever, right? That's what Group Juice is in a nutshell. Massively grow your social media followings, your Group Juice, right? How to structure your group, how to make sure you're building a know, like, and trust to take people from a stranger to a buyer in as little as 2 days. That's as fast as we've done it. And I'm talking like, $3,000 to $5,000 purchases in 2 days, and just how to monetize ethically while building a personal brand that's going to be there for years to come, right? So that's Group Juice in a nutshell.
Nice. I'm assuming, is that still available for purchase?
Yes.
Yes. Perfect. Okay. Because basically we've come to the end of the episode where you guys get to sort of plug something. Now, I asked about Group Juice, obviously because it just, again, sounded sexy. I'm seeing a theme here. And obviously, I wanted to know a little bit more. But like, in terms of if people liked obviously the way you come across, the thought process, the like everything, like what were you going to help them do, and where should they find you?
So pretty easy. If you go to flipmoss.com, no WW in the front, just flipmoss.com, you'll be able to join my group. Nate can drop his too. Join either one of his groups. You know, we do have some crossover. But before anyone buys anything, we'd really appreciate it if y'all checked out the 3-hour training that we've done today, because you'll really get an inside scoop of how we coach, how we operate, a lot of our results, student client results. And then if it makes sense, we'd be glad to chat to you. But if you want to get in our worlds, learn from us, hang out, see what we talk about in the trenches, you can find me at flipmoss.com.
Nice. And is your group flip your switch?
Yep.
Okay, sound. And Nate, yours is 90 Men Nickels, or what's yours called?
Yeah, I'm not even going to try to attempt to say it. It's my old blog. So Nighttime Nickels. I can drop the link to my groups, or my group, either group, right? Doesn't really necessarily matter. Flips is obviously easier to find.
It's all right. What I've done is I've got both of the links that you sent me earlier today, Nate. So I'll just drop them in the YouTube description. So the groups will be the first 2 links in the YouTube description, guys, if you want to go ahead and check them out.
Yeah.
So Flip, Nate, any final thoughts before we leave?
Final thoughts. Something I wish someone would have told me back in the day is like, don't listen to anyone who's negative, even if they're your mom, your dad, friends, family. Like, if you got a big vision, focus on that shit. Short story, my dad told me when I got fired, he was like, leave this internet bullshit alone. Just go get another job. You got the experience. I said, I love you, Dad. I respect you, but I'm not fucking listening to you this time. And it wasn't soon after I started doing very well. I sent him a screenshot. I said, hey, just made $8,000 this week. Can I take you out to eat to your favorite place with this bullshit internet money? He told me, you don't have to be an asshole. When are you picking me up? I haven't heard shit else. So, like, don't listen to anyone that's thinking too small. If you think big, fucking think big and go for what the hell you want, no matter what. There's my advice.
And Nate, you?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that would be for me, like, obviously, surrounding yourself around the right people is super important, but also start playing longer term, right? In the context of things, or in the perspective of your entire life, if you could spend the next 2 years building a business that allows you to never have to work a job again, it's going to be worth it, right? Even if the next 2 years are a struggle, right? That's one thing that kept me really stuck for a really long time, was trying to play quick, trying to jump and do anything and everything as fast as possible. So just start thinking longer term with everything in your business. And it will radically change your life over periods of time, right?
Big one.
Perfect. Okay, guys. Well, everyone who's tuned in for the live and the replay, thank you so much, obviously, for watching the final episode of the YouTube live event. The 4 weeks has now come to an end, guys. As you said, if you love what Nate and Flip have been talking about, 100% those links will be in the YouTube description. Go ahead, check those groups out. The 3-hour training sounds pretty exciting, so I'm going to jump off this, finish watching the video I was watching about Clickfunnels 2.0, and then I'm joining one of those groups to check the training out. So, guys, no, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And everyone else watching, thank you so much for tuning in for the last 4 weeks. It's been an absolute blast. And I will see you all soon.
Heck yeah, I appreciate it.
Man. Thank you.